An album a day is my exploration into the Korean music scene. This podcast will cover mainstream, indie, and some underground artists within the scene and provide both factual and opinionated commentary. The biggest benefit to sharing my thoughts this way is that it will hopefully expose you to more great music and exploration of your own.
All right. Hello, everyone. Today is the last Ricky Roundup. My voice is extra husky right now. I have not spoken at all in hours, so it's going to warm up as we go. Hopefully, the microphone will not have the same recording incident I had during the number 6 day Ricky Roundup recording. Had these little random audio glitches and whatnot, so hopefully that doesn't happen. We are at the end of the Ricky Roundup, and today we are going to look at groups Banner, Very, We in the Zone, X1, and also going to give you my top 5 rookies to keep an eye on as requested by listener and Mekwala Amber Austin 7. So let's get into it.
루키 라운드업 쇼 스타트.
Okay, all right. We got a whole bunch of noises going on. I just that's the sweet sound of morning frustration. I just hate starting my day already with it. But luckily, we had lovely music to listen to be some sort of distraction. Hopefully, you're doing well today. So the first group we're going to look out. Here we go. Already. See, that's proof right there that I need to record at night when the entire house is dead sleep and I'm exhausted but not struggling like this. The first group we're going to look at, I did it twice. I hate everything already. Vanner. Vanner, Vanner, but since there is no letter V in the Korean alphabet, it's spelled Banner. So Vanner, they're a boy band. They're on VT Entertainment. That's hilarious. I just said there's no V in the language. And of course, there's artists who have V's in their name, most prominently V of BTS, but even he says V. So for them to be VT Entertainment, their name technically is pronounced VT, like B. VT Entertainment. Oh, Lord have mercy. It's 5 members currently. Taehwan, Gon, Hillsong, Action, and Youngkwang, and I like the way how Action spells his name. I could be tremendously wrong, and he might actually pronounce it Asian. Yeah, he does. It's Asian, but it looks like Action, AHXIAN. It's pretty dope either way to spell it that way. Their debut day is Valentine's Day, February 14, 2019. And had a single called Better Do Better. Better Do Better. So this is a group that actually started their promotions in Japan in 2018. So although their formal debut day is February 14th, 2019, they have been active about their promotions since 2018. They've had over 200 performances prior to that Korean debut. So they're very finessed. And once I realized that, I'm like, okay, that explains why they appealed so very well to me. So they began working on their debut project in January of 2019 and started actually getting everything in order to have it finalized by March of 2019, and online it specifically says March 4th. So they had a good chunk of time where they were really working on it, trying to create a very solid debut album to share with their listeners. And then February 13th, they had their music video for Better Do Better. And then following that, they released the actual album as well as performed on Mnet. I was about to say Mnet Countdown, but technically it is M Countdown. They performed on that. They've released one studio album called V, and I mean, this thing has a lot on it. The first album they did, February 14th, has a total of 17 tracks. But let me clarify. Tracks 11 through 17 are instrumentals of tracks 1 through 10. So they give you the music, they give you the artistry, then they give you the instrumentals of it as well for you to enjoy. And I like that because I'm an instrumental producer. I can make a whole album of nothing but instrumentals, and that's something that they delivered on, which I haven't seen with every single group. Yes, we have had groups in the past who do an instrumental of this title album song, but they basically did pretty much everything. They did Upper, Better, Do Better, Without You, Bulo, Bol Hegjo, Like a Star, Dream Pelon. What is that? Dream what? Dream Pelon. Mula. A few of them. Wait, let's see exactly what that is. Because it's not Dream. It's Trem. Trem. Hold on, everyone. Now we're having a Ashley needs to translate moment. Cool. Now you got to hear my brain work in Korean. I'm sorry. It's work with me. I need to understand what I'm looking at. Cool. 어떡하지? Help me, Jesus. I'm putting the wrong emphasis on the wrong syllable. It's not dream pillow. Trampoline. I'm going trampoline. Yeah, that's not correct. Trampoline. So trampoline is the name of the song. My goodness. That's why you check things. That's why you don't assume. And then Maligohe, say it. Is that the last? No, I translated the wrong one. So sorry. That's not the last instrumental. I know you're all sitting here like, technically, Ashley, we didn't really need this. But look, my brain is just doing what it does in the morning. No, mananana. The day I meet you, not the day I met. So forward projecting. And then the second album is the first thing that has a number in it that makes sense. The single album is written with the number 5, then CEAN:V. It is Ocean V. That is correct. That makes, like, thank you for making some sense. We've been through a lot of numbers already. 5 is pronounced O in Hangul. Well, it can be pronounced O. So Ocean V. Like, thank you. Doggone it. Had me out here looking a frying mess. I'm already bad enough that I couldn't even say trampoline, putting the wrong emphasis on the wrong syllable and just deal with it. I like Vanner. After saying all of that, I like Vanner. They remind me a lot of Block B, and it's undeniable for me. No, it's not the same label or anything of the sort. It's not even the same amount of members, but the composition of their sound very much reminds me of what Block B used to bring to the table. So I'm excited about them. I was a big BBC until I got frustrated with Zico. We're not in the B's yet, but when we get there, we'll talk a little bit about it. So I think that they are worth looking at. Another group right after that that's worth looking at is Very, Very. Very, Very, they're on Jellyfish Entertainment. Just right off bat, I'm telling you that they remind me a lot of their label mates, VIX. Not in terms of size, not in terms of aesthetic. This is solely in vocal composition. It's almost the same pockets fulfilled by VIX. While VIX is out doing different things, having members in enlistment and whatnot, they brought another group onto the scene that has a very similar sound to me. So Very, Very, again, this is another thing with a V. So Betty Betty, which is hilarious to me because over in Korea, my students used to always say, teacher, good. I'm Betty Betty Strawberry, Betty Betty Blueberry. So it's funny to hear Very, Very, Betty Betty when this is now a name of a group. They recently celebrated their 1-year anniversary as well. They debuted January 9th, 2019 with a package called Very Us. So the group currently consists of members Donghyun, Ho-young, Min-chan, Gae-hyun, Yeonho. No, not Hugh, actually. Yeonho. Lord have mercy. Yeonho, Yongsung, and Gongmin. You would not believe me if I told you I was sitting here reading the Hangul right now. My life is over, okay? Like, whatever reading skills I had, just they out the window. Like, I'm out here just Just struggling. So Jellyfish confirmed that they were debuting a 7-member boy group a long time ago. They told all of us that August 23rd, 2018. And then that their name would be Very Very. It's the first boy group in a long, long time. In fact, just to be numerically correct, Jellyfish hasn't debuted a boy band since Vicks. So it's been about 6 years at the time that they had said that. It was a good chunk of time. They say that the name comes from the Latin word very, meaning truth, and the English word very, Very. So I guess their name means very truthful. Truthful, very? Of course not, it doesn't. Let's tell you what it says on Wikipedia. Quote, very, Very. So very, very is a combination of the words various, energetic, real, and innovation. Okay, I get it. I get it. They took the Very. I'm sorry. I had a moment because I was about to go off. Like, why do we keep doing this? But I get it. They did make the Latin version of the word an acronym. They made an acronym. V, various. E, energetic. R, real. I, innovation. Anywho, we're just gonna keep on pushing for it. Keep pushing for it. Oh my God. They had their own little reality show named Now Very, Very Real Road Movie. And they made an OST to it as well. That came out in September 2018. And then we just had to wait and wait and wait. And then finally on January 9th, they came out with Ring, Ring, Ring. What's up with them naming things triplets? They had Ring, Ring, Ring as their debut. And then in July, they came out with Tag, Tag, Tag. I like it too. They've already released something for this year, but we can't talk about that just yet until many, many moons from now when we finally get back to the letter V, and they'll probably have several other albums underneath their belt. So I enjoy the fact that they debuted early in the year because unlike their label mates Vicks, who debuted May 24th, 2012, don't laugh at me for knowing that I am a starlight, okay? I know some of our dates really well. Plus, it's in May and my birthday is in May, so it's hard to forget that. And that was the first group at the time when I was still new to K-pop, because that was 2012. I got into it in October. When I found out about them towards January not even January. Yeah, towards January of 2013, they were like still very new and fresh to me. That was the first debut song I ever liked from a group. So I also, for these gentlemen, even though one was a winter debut and one is a spring debut, much the same, I liked their first song just like I liked their brother's song. So I have a special eye out for them. They have the Very Us EP, Variable VP. This is a struggle. Variable EP. And then they did a single album, Very Chill. I just need to know, is everything gonna have Very in it? Nope, because the 2020 release is called Face Me, which reminds me a lot of Fight Me, and I'm all for it. I wish these young men some serious luck. Now we're going over into the W's. We in the Zone. That is their whole name. We in the zone. I just read the Hangul. I'm not being funny. That's really what it says. We in the zone. Boy band. 2019, Choon Entertainment, which I wish it was Choon instead of a N. It's Choon. I want it to be Choom because Choon means dance in Hangul. So Choon Entertainment, and their debut was May 27th, 2019 with the self-titled album We in the Zone, because why name it anything else when your name is like that? One of the members was in Produce 101 Season 2. That was 2017. And then he left the show. This member being Shihyun, he left the show due to medical reasons. Then he debuted in the duo group Longgao and Shihyun with the album The. What is up with the triplets? Then they just quietly ended things. It was like a project. They might have thought it was going to be an ambitious group, but it actually just ended up being a project ultimately. But it seems as if this Shihyun member is very invested in doing whatever he can to get his sound and his name out there, because he also did a project with someone named Kim So-hee. It was called Sweet Potato X101. Kim So-hee is a member of the Produce 101 season before him, and she is member of girl groups CIVA and IBI. So just trying to do the best that he can to maintain a following. And then he participated in another survival show called Under 19. That was in 2018. He was doing all he could to do what he could to be heard, to be seen. He was in the running for ninth place for that, and instead finished at 10th during the final episode. Had he made it into the ninth, then he would have debuted with the winning group. So it's been a process for this young man. Then they being the label, tried to put a group together called Wits. But I think once they added members, Shihyun and former member Men, that's when they fully decided, okay, Wits is fully what it needs to be. WITZ is what I'm saying when I say Wits, which are just the initials for We in the Zone. Okay, they were supposed to debut May 29th, but for whatever reason, they bumped it up to May 27th. I don't know what allowed them to bring it up a couple of days. I don't really know. They held their debut showcase at the Hongdae Hana Tour V Hall in Seoul. There's another V again. October 23rd, Men left the group and he terminated his contract. He said, I'm done with y'all. So now I can tell you the amount of members in the group. There are currently 4. Isun, Juan, Kyunghyun, and Shihyun. And I know I said his wrong. Kyunghyun. There we go. Lord have mercy. It's a fire in my mouth, in my brain, in my existence. We in the Zone was released May 27th. And then I'm not joking about the name of this album, was October 30th, 2019. I feel as if We in the Zone. Let's see. How do I feel? I gotta go back and look. What was the one I looked at first? Let's Get Loud was pretty good. Like, I'm not against it. And then they have a song called Bet on Me. I like those two quite a bit. Love Aid is cute. These gentlemen have potential. And with having that one member who's been through so many survival shows and whatnot, there's some serious determination there. I'm not certain if he's the leader. I didn't even bother to look because I don't want to get too thoroughly detailed with these groups by way of allowing me to enjoy their discography in full later in the show. But if he is the leader, his determination, if nothing else, is going to propel them as far as they need to go to hopefully have a successful career. X1. We being listeners in general, just experience, because I'm not a fan, although after this I am. Well, I'm a fan of their sound. Like, I'm not as heavily invested as someone who would know like all the members' names, their nuances, watch their performances and everything. But this group just disbanded January 6th of 2020 for ridiculous reasons in my eyes, honest to goodness. But X1 was a South Korean boy band who was just in their rookie year. They were formed by CJ and they were part of Produce X101. The group debuted August 27, 2019. They didn't even get a full year of rookiedom. Now, the thing about it is with the Produce shows anyway, those are concept groups. You might have a 1 to 2 year promotion window. They were winner from the boys side of the competition, and then there is a girls group that competed as well, all during the same time, and the girl group did survive. So this particular group, the group from the Produce X101, were the ones called X1, and then their counterpart, just had a total brain fart. Their counterpart, iZone, they're not disbanded. It's not from the same show. I want to make sure you know. So iZone was put together through Produce 48. So it's still a part of the Produce system. I was having a hard time trying to remember because then I had to reach back even further. Like, why didn't we talk about iZone during the 2019 rookies? But actually, they had a 2-year contract. They aren't a 1-year thing. They debuted in 2018. We'll get to them soon enough because we'll be in the eyes. Anywho, X1, Produce 101, massive size group, like stupid big group. The group's name was suggested by people online. And I mean, it was a good one. It works. But of course, Korea being Korea has to give unnecessary reasons for this. So let me give you this information. The source for this is not very reliable. There is not a citation associated with it. So I'm going to read directly from Wikipedia, the English version. Help me. Is this the most mistakes we've made speaking in a while? It can't be that long ago. I'm sure I destroyed an episode last week. Okay. Quote, the group's name, X1, was suggested by netizens through the official Produce X101 website and chosen by CJENM, with the name taken from the show's title song, X1 Ma. X1 means 11 in Roman numeral. What? In Roman numbers, and also represents 10 members plus one member who receives the X rank. End quote. Okay, let's go back. Let's just. So there's a actual X, and then there's a number 1. X, like the actual X, and then a number 1, not a Roman numeral 1 where it looks like a capital I. Oh no, because that would make more sense when you say X1 looking like an 11 in Roman characters. That's not what they wanted to convey. They just said, take what I give you, deal with it. And what is an X rank? Who knows? Because I didn't watch the show. The doggone podcast is not called a survival show a day. It's called an album a day. And I'm not diving into that because it's going to do nothing but confuse and confrazzle me even more. I don't care. What I want you to know about is the group's leader and all of his little chicken nuggets. Han Sung-woo, Cho Sung-yoon, Kim Wook-sok, Kim Yo-han, Lee Han-gil, Cha Jun-hyo, Sun Dong-pyo, Kang Min-hee, Lee Yeon-sang, Sung Hyung-jun, and Nam Do-hyun they were robbed. Okay, these young men were robbed of an opportunity to really create something magical and give extra energy to whatever individualized artistry that they experience or groups that they join. They were robbed. It is really unclear why they were disbanded. They had a meeting with CJENM and Swing Entertainment and their individual agencies all discussed the future of this group. The meeting literally lasted 10 minutes. 4 agencies were like, yes, let's keep on doing this. 4 agencies voted to disband. And then 1 agency was unclear and everything just got thrown out the window. It's so jacked up. They were good. I did not stand behind 101. And I am personally interested in seeing what happens when we get to their discography. I will continue to explain in detail at that time why I had an issue with them. And I was living in Korea when 101 was at their absolute peak, like the apex of magic. They could do no wrong. Kang Daniel's face was all over the doggone place. But these gentlemen, they did not get an opportunity to do what they needed to do prior to debut, prior to even debuting. They made the Billboard charts on the chart Social 50 and Emerging Artists at number 6 and number 11, respectively. They were the first Korean artists to land a spot on the Social 50 prior to debut at the time. That's huge. That's huge. Like, they really had a lot of momentum behind them. They released an EP called Emergency Quantum Leap. It's a bop. It's a doggone bop. Okay? It charted number 1 in Korea. And so at the time of this recording, 642,583 units. It's 2 times platinum. Like, Emergency Quantum Leap is a good album. And they just had the momentum snatched from underneath them. And it's extremely unfair. So I can't even, just the enthusiasm I had speaking about them, I can't even put them on the top 5 rookies to watch. But I do hope that the members definitely, I hope that they do have a lot of success in their other projects and other groups that they debut with. I hope they do get to debut again. Maybe they'll be smart and walk away. And well, I don't know if they have the power to walk away from their respective labels and continue on under that name. I don't even think they can own the name, much like Beast and Highlight. We're not there yet. We'll talk about that when we get there, which I really do think, just on a side note, I think when I get to Beast, I'm going to speak about Highlight together with them. I won't wait until the H's. That's just a side note. So let's get into these top 5 rookies. Again, as I announced previously, we will not be acknowledging XOSC, Just 2, or Super M. Those are subunits and a super group from extremely established groups. It's not fair. They're not for real rookies. I just don't see that being fair. And of course, we're going to remove X1. In the number 5 space, I have Everglow, the girl group. I really think they've got something good going on, and I hope that they can continue in a good space with that. So Everglow is number 5. I have Vanner in number 4. And I was really torn because I was like, man, Vanner or Very, Very, which one? Vanner, because they remind me so much of Block B. I'm kind of partial. And the scene needs that kind of energy again. At number 3, I have at number 3, I'm gonna put AB6. Number 2 is ITZY, and number 1 is One Team. Those are the rookies that I think we need to really pay attention to. Everyone is doing well in their own regard, don't get me wrong, but I think those are the bee's knees right now. And all my mouth jumbled up, talking, struggling, Panic at the Disco. I'm finished. The rookies have worn me out. This was interesting to listen to all this new music from these fresh faces, fresh voices. We just have to see what time is going to do for these young men and young women. And on our next in our next episode, we will be looking at a disbanded girl group. They were called 4 Ladies, or 4L. They debuted in 2014, and we will get into their discography, which is very easy because it's a 1-episoder. We'll get into their discography in the next episode. I appreciate you all struggling through this 25 plus minute me can't speak thing. I'm gonna get back in the bed. That's what I'm gonna do. I told you my voice would warm up while we were going through this. So yeah. I'm gonna just end it. Bye, y'all.
Your favorite foreign Korean music historian exploring all the industry from A to Z. There's sponsored ads and social media hashtags, but this show is truly supported by the efforts of my Migualas, the most amazing fan base a little entertainer could ever have. Special shout out to my Patreon patrons, the student body, and the scholars who keep my vision of becoming your favorite Korean music historian exploring all the industry from A to Z a real thing. If you're interested in supporting the growth of this podcast and supporting content, please visit patreon.com/multifacetedacg. And for as little as $1 a month, you can get in on the magic too. Interested in continuing your support at the free $99 price? I love you for it. You can still engage with the show when you retweet, repost, and share the show and use hashtag A3 and the word DAY. You can also tag MULTIFACETEDACG to get my attention. And if you're listening to this podcast on a platform other than Anchor.fm, please leave a few stars or a review to keep things growing in the right direction.